Welcome back to Saturday Social, where we are joined by Mina and Ollie. And Joseph is with me, as always.
Thanks,
and we're going to talk transfers. That's all right.
Thanks, Adam.
Just give you some love. Adam? No one ever calls me Adam. We're going to talk transfers, Joe, because what a week it's been.
Ridiculous.
In terms of done deals, rumours, managers as well. And we're going a bit different, aren't we, with the item this week? Do you want to explain what we've got on the whiteboard?
Yeah, we've mixed the board up today. So we've got a number of different transfers that have happened. Like you said, managers that could move, transfer rumours. We're going to talk about, from the signing club's perspective, is it better for the club? Is it better for the player? Should it not happen, or is it just the perfect transfer for everybody involved? So we've got 4 different categories. Oh, you've got a number of different magnets we're going to go through today. Should we crack straight on with the first
Can I just
news?
say,
Because it's horrendous.
I love how we're making the Crystal Palace fans start with, do you want to reveal the magnet?
Yeah.
Marc Guehi.
Marc Guehi.
Sorry about that.
It's a painful first
This
few
broke
on
yesterday to Man City, £20 million old. Talk to us about the fee first when you heard that.
Yeah, I mean, on the surface, it's a bargain, right? Like, Marc Guehi is not a £20 million player. Equally, he was guaranteed to leave Palace at the end of the season. So we've got a fee for him. And I think short term for Palace, it's okay. And I think we have some good young options. But for City, I think it's a really good move. Like, he instantly improves their defence.
Would you rather have got the money, £20 million, we referenced the fee, £20 million now for Marc Guehi, or would you rather he stayed to the end of the season and helped you for the rest of the season, but then you know that there's likely that he goes on a free in the summer? What would be better?
I honestly think I would have rather sold him in January, because I think our season hinges on winning the Conference League. Yeah. And I don't think that Marc Guehi should be the difference between us winning that and not winning that. I think that we have enough in the squad, and we should be able to get an adequate replacement in that still makes us the best squad with the best manager in that competition. And we could finish 17th in the Premier League and win that competition. I'd view it as a good season.
I know, we finished 17th and won the Europa League. Brought us perfectly on in between two Man United fans. Thank you, Ollie. Brilliant. We are talking about this as the transfer, though. So looking at it from Man City's perspective, where would you place this on the quadrant?
I'll put it as perfect transfer.
I agree.
Yeah, I think defensively he enhances them, because they're not too far off from Arsenal. Second most clean sheets after Arsenal, second least goals after Arsenal, and with all the injuries that they've got in that backline now, I just think Marc Guehi.
Agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I think for Guehi as well, you look at John Stones when he came in, they're kind of similar in that they're really technically good footballers who have a really high ceiling. And I think Guehi could be someone who, steps into midfield for City moving forward too. He's a leader, and it's obviously an incredible move for him. So
okay. Through gritted teeth, he puts him down as perfect transfer. I think we'd all agree with that as well, top player. Let's move on to Conor Gallagher. Done deal to Spurs.
I really like Conor Gallagher. Obviously, he was brilliant at Palace, and he was someone who added so much energy to the team and therefore the fans when we watched him play. I'm just not really sure it's what Spurs needed right now. I think it's a good move, and he starts for Spurs, and the fans will like him, and he'll succeed there. But could that money have been spent better elsewhere, especially in the midfield? You look at someone who could play alongside Polinia, who can progress the ball better than Gallagher can. Gallagher has loads of strength. He's an amazing presser. He's a good box crasher. But is he someone who's going to get on the ball and spray it around like Spurs possibly need? I'm not sure.
Can I just talk about this from a Spurs fan's perspective, though? And why I'm excited about this is because it's 34 million. It's a very relatively not a huge outlay in terms of finances. We've already sold Brennan Johnson for a very similar fee, and we have money to spend. His age profile as well. He's got many years left in him. His injury record, I don't want to jinx it, but is phenomenal. But also, Spurs need a sort of quick fix now because of the amount of players they've got injured, because of the form that they're in. I think he solves a lot of those problems. I think he's going to play very soon. I wouldn't be surprised if he even started today. So I'm very excited about this personally, and I think it works for both. Where would you put?
I would say better for the player, as you mentioned. I just don't think it's what Spurs need in the midfield necessarily, but I think he's a good player, and also he's probably wanting more game time. He's going to get it because of the injury, the World Cup coming up, so it's better for the player. But I understand Spurs.
So you're thinking when everyone's fit and all of that comes. Okay.
Overall,
it's your decision, Ol.
It's your decision.
I normally back the Spurs fan, but we'll
no,
go
it's fair. I heard both sides when everyone's fit and all that.
Next up, we've got the news yesterday that Ollie Glasner announced that he's going to leave at the end of the season, and he's still amongst the favourites to go to Manchester United. So we're going to talk about this as that being the move, Ollie Glasner to Manchester United. But first, let's talk about the news yesterday. Ollie Glasner is leaving.
It's not a surprise, right? I think you could say it was almost the worst kept secret in football. Everyone knew that this was coming, I think. Obviously, the timing to announce it 5 minutes after announcing Guehi's going to Man City was a bit of a killer. But I love Glasner, and he delivered the best season in our history, and he's our greatest ever manager for that. I don't think he's perfect. I think a lot of fans this season have had some gripes with how we have managed the schedule and the squad. There are a lot of young players who I think fit what Palace should be about, and they haven't been given the game time that I would have liked them to have been given. It's a very system-based structure that he has, which is not very Palace. I associate Palace with kind of maverick attackers like your Zaha's, Elise's, Eze's, who have a freedom to go and express themselves and win us games.
Flair players.
Exactly, and that is not what Glasner is at all. I'm not going to question his methods because I wouldn't trade last season for anything.
Yeah.
But I think Crystal Palace existed and succeeded before Glasner and will do so afterwards as well.
Mina, we're talking about this, though, as a potential option for Manchester United. Where are you on that as a United fan?
I think that says it. With Glasner, I like him as a coach, but I don't know if he's what Manchester United need, because I'm of the belief that Manchester United need a manager that challenges not only just the ownership, but a Jose Mourinho-esque manager in terms of character and personality. And when you look at the results that he's got with Crystal Palace, it's great for Crystal Palace, but can that translate at Manchester United? And I know Man United want a Premier League experienced coach. There's not many going to be available this summer. Maybe Iraola, maybe Marco Silva, maybe Oliver Glasner. It'll be interesting.
Interesting what happens with the World Cup when it's a few
Nagelsmann.
So on the quadrant,
I'm actually going to go shouldn't happen.
Okay. And what's interesting about that is we've got a Palace and a Man United fan in the studio, and they're both agreeing on shouldn't happen. So we'll move from one manager to the next. Now, this is Jurgen Klopp. There was some reports, some rumours, obviously linked with the Real Madrid job.
I mean, talking of shouldn't happen.
I'm unsure how likely that is to happen, but obviously we are discussing rumours.
I agree with you on this one, Al. I don't see it.
I can't think of a managerial ethos and a club ethos that are worse matched than Real Madrid and Jurgen Klopp. Maybe for Madrid, it's good to get it's great to get a manager of Klopp's calibre in, but Klopp's teams, you look at Dortmund and Liverpool, it's all about the collective and high intensity. There's no one player who's bigger than the rest of the team, whereas Real Madrid are the complete opposite of that. And that's fine. That's worked for them incredibly over the last, my entire life. But Real Madrid is not a Jurgen Klopp team. I can't see that at all.
Happen.
I think from some people at home will be sat there, they'll be saying, Jurgen Klopp, we don't want to see him as the head of global soccer anymore, doing Trivago adverts. We want to see him back in here, don't we, in management. And
other adverts do exist.
But does anything other than a club of this stature pull him back in?
I don't know. I guess maybe you could think of it as, if Real Madrid doesn't attract him as a manager, and managers love to think that they can be the difference maker, right? It's kind of like Glasner at Man United. He'll think I could be the one to go in and save that. And Jurgen Klopp, I'm sure, will back himself, but I don't know. I could just see it ending badly. It wouldn't affect Klopp's legacy in football at all. But is it worth it? Is it the right job for him? I'm not sure.
Okay, where are you going to put it?
It's not going to happen, but it was a rumour, so hence why we're discussing it. You're going to put it on shouldn't happen again. Yeah. Okay. Now, Ollie, it's been a while. It's been at least one magnet since we discussed Palace. So we're going to go back to Palace now, because this is another rumour, which again I'm sure you don't want to hear. But Jean-Phillipe Mateta linked with, we know that there's Premier League clubs here, but Juventus strongly linked. So again, what's your thoughts on this one?
There's just so many Palace people leaving. It's painful. I think for Mateta, this is a good move, right? Let's be honest, Juve is a big step up from Palace. I think Mateta has reportedly wanted to go to Italy for quite a long time, and Juventus are Juventus. Also, looking at their striker situation, I know they've got Jonathan David at the moment, who has found a little bit of form in the short term, but I don't think it's necessarily worked out brilliantly. That he's not especially popular there. He would probably start for them. And again, just from a Palace standpoint, all of these deals with Glasner and Guehi and Mateta, they make sense in isolation, but when you pile them all into the space of a week in the middle of the season, it's a little bit harder to swallow. I don't know if it's better for I think this transfer would either exist in better for the player or perfect transfer. I think Mateta to Juve would be better for the player. I think for him that's a great step up. Also, he wants to be a France regular. He's far more likely to do that when he's at Juventus than at Palace. I know he's got a call up at Palace, but it's a great move for him. I can't deny that.
Mina, he was being linked to United for quite some time.
I would love him at United.
You'd surely take him,
100%. And also, I think he's an upgrade on Jonathan David. Because he's got 2 goals in the most recent Serie A games, but before that, he hadn't scored since August in the league, and a pen on loan, 1 goal in the league. He's an upgrade. And imagine crosses into the box in the Italian league and Mateta getting on the end of it.
Yeah. He could score a lot of goals.
I would put it in perfect transfer, because I think it makes sense for both the club and the player.
I'm happy to do that.
Well,
Okay,
I'm happy
to do that. He's a great personality as well, Mateta.
Yeah, and the fee doesn't seem outrageous given his contract length either. Who we got next?
Strand Larsen
to Leeds.
Yeah, and also prior to that, linked with a lot of clubs, isn't there? A lot of clubs linked with Strand Larsen.
Yeah,
Newcastle as well.
I think if Mateta was to go in January, I could see us trying to get this one over the line. I mean, for Leeds, this would be an incredible statement. Bearing in mind, this is a player who, last summer was one of the most sought-after strikers in the Premier League, and he's still young. I know they've got Calvert-Lewin, who just won Player of the Month, but based on Calvert-Lewin's injury record, you don't want to rely on him for a whole season. Also, he's not going to be at that level forever.
But looking at this though, and I think this is where this is quite good how we've done this, is because we're all agreeing that he's a good player, that he's offered a lot, but there's a lot of clubs in with him. So do you think this would be the best fit with him when you consider Calvert-Lewin's form, and bearing in mind the other clubs that are in for him? Where would be the best move for Strand Larsen, do you think?
I mean, I'm incredibly biased, but if Mateta left, Palace would be great for him. He'd start every week, and Leeds smashed us 4-1 earlier in the season, but we are on a better trajectory at the moment than Leeds are. It kind of feels like if he went to Leeds, he could find himself in exactly the same situation in 18 months' time if Leeds were to go back down, which is not impossible. I don't think they will this season, but maybe in the future. So I think the fact that it's an amazing deal for Leeds and Strand Larsen might not be... I don't know. It doesn't feel like he's fulfilling his short-term potential by going to Leeds necessarily.
So you putting that
definitely better for the club. It'd be an incredible coup for Leeds in January to get
Let's go. So the next one you've got is Tammy Abraham linked with Villa. Mina, let's get your take on this. Abraham linked with Aston Villa. What are your thoughts on that one?
As a backup striker to Ollie Watkins, maybe, but that's the only thing that makes sense for me. Is he trying to? I think what will help England is having as many informed strikers going into the World Cup, because right now there's a backup to Harry Kane. It's the conversation now of Ollie Watkins is popping up, but early in the season there wasn't really anyone for that. So if you can have some strikers in good form, getting goals, getting playing time as well, and I think he adds that depth to Aston Villa. I think it's better for the player. For me, I would put it better for the player. It makes sense. But I wouldn't be too against it if it was either for perfect transfer.
Do you think that'll help his England form, though? It's an interesting point you make there. Obviously, he won't want to be back up to an Ollie Watkins, but moving to the Premier League, do you think that'll improve his chances if he is being seen playing regularly rather than the league he's currently playing in? And
not just that, but also I think he'll be getting more game time because Aston Villa's playing more games. And, under Unai Emery, I think he would do well to kind of nurture him into... He's not a young player, but he's still he hasn't hit that pinnacle that you really expected when he was coming through at Chelsea. So I'd say better for the player.
Villa before, let's not forget.
Exactly.
I think it works well for Villa as well. They get a striker who is going to be willingly back up to Ollie Watkins, which they haven't had for such a long time. I think it works for both, but I'm happy to go better for the player.
No, it's your picks, bro.
I love a reunion like that.
And just to contextualise it as well, because he's a bit out of sight, out of mind playing abroad. 12 goals in all comps on loan from Roma at Besiktas this season, and 10 goals on loan at AC Milan last season. So, not bad numbers. Now, this is an interesting talking point, Paqueta. I don't know if the latest reports that to be believed are that obviously he wants Flamengo, only wants Flamengo, if we're to believe the reports. They want him, but West Ham want to keep him. I think they know that he's likely to go, but it's believed that they want him till the end of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see, A, if he does go, and B, if it is in January or in the summer. They obviously want to keep him because they're in a relegation battle. Well, where do you stand on this transfer?
I mean, I think for West Ham, it's not great. Having a player who is so important to your team wanting to leave in January could never happen to Palace, obviously. I also think, though, the fact that they could have sold him to Villa last summer and didn't, and then obviously City were in for him previously, they're going to probably get a fraction of the money that they would have got otherwise. I think for Paqueta, it's good he gets to go to Flamengo, and obviously it's what the player wants, but West Ham don't benefit from this at all. The last thing they need is more players pushing to leave and more uncertainty in the squad. I know that, there's been murmurs for a while, but I don't see really any positives for West Ham because they're not going to get a fee.
Remember, better for the club in this case is the buying club.
Yeah, for Flamengo as well, I guess in that sense it's perfect transfer. I guess Flamengo's getting a Lucas Paqueta.
Do you think, though, that if Paqueta had other options on the table in Europe, I know that he loves and wants to go back to Brazil potentially, but is that the best? Paqueta, do you think Paqueta at this age going back to Brazil is the right vibe for him?
I'm working on the assumption that he would want the move if he's being linked to it. I know that he's shown a willingness to go to Europe as well. Where could he go? Could he go to a Champions League club if one were in for him? I don't know. He lives in a weird in-between for me. I don't think he's clearly good enough to play for
your list,
a top team.
Put him where you want to
Should we go? I think we'll go... It is better for the club than it is for Paqueta, so let's go for better for the club.
We've got time for one more. Eric Dier.
Talking to West Ham.
Yeah.
I think we're linked with a return to the Premier League.
Well, they badly need a centre-back, right, West Ham, and Eric Dier gives experience. I don't know if the Spurs link will go down well with their fans.
Will
but
it? Will you be bothered?
I mean, Eric Dier is a very respected player for Spurs for many years. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether this will happen, if I'm honest, to West Ham. But I don't know how that would affect. You're talking about if that would affect his legacy.
Would you be annoyed?
Amongst the fan base?
I
think most Spurs fans would rather he didn't go to West Ham, obviously. But I think it's not like. Don't forget, it's not like he's going from Spurs to West Ham. There's moves in between, so there is that to factor in. I can't see it happening personally, but if it were to happen.
I think maybe it kind of gets him back in. Maybe it's too late for England in his career, but he's back in the Premier League. It's objectively a good move from a footballing standpoint, possibly. But then if West Ham were to go down, all of a sudden he's in the Championship, and I don't know how that would look long term. Is he also long term what West Ham needs? They need experience, but is the answer to that Eric Dier? I'm not sure he's going to move the needle necessarily between them staying up and going down.
Living in Monaco as well, by the way.
Yeah. So let's think about them. Where
would you put?
I would go better for the club. It makes sense for West Ham, but not necessarily
he starts for them, right? So
okay. Yeah, it might only be alone. So there we have confirmation of Oll's list of some of the biggest transfer news of the week. Just the managers in shouldn't happen, but there are some perfect transfers in there as well. Right, let us know what you think of that at home.